Hello everyone, this is a guide to replacing the fork seals on a Honda XR125 from 2003 till 2010, I think. This is a 2008, and as you can see, if you focus, my fork seals are, well, dust seals are splitting, so time for some new ones. I looked online for a guide to do this, couldn't find anything, so I thought I'd make one. Hopefully this helps a few people. So first job is to get the bike front end raised up and front wheel off, and then the forks off. So I don't have a fancy motorbike lift or anything like that, so I do have a trolley jack, a piece of 3x2 and some axle stands, and it is solid as a rock, going nowhere. Right, first things first, remove the fork cap. Be careful because it will go pop as the spring pushes it out. Yep. Then take the fork up and remove the spring and the oil. and out a few times. It gets most of the oil out. Next, put the fork in some soft jaws in a vise, undo the bottom fork bolt with a 6mm Allen key. It is rather tight and it's got Loctite on it. Can get stuck on the thread lock. There we go. Then you can remove the fork pipe. And then we get to the bit we've been after, the seals. Next, remove the dust seal. Comes out quite easily. One knackered dust seal. Very knackered. And then we get to the main seal. There's a little tiny clip inside, which you can get with a small flat blade screwdriver. That quite easily. Sits in a little groove on the inside. That's that. Next, main seal. I've seen videos of people removing these with some kind of a double open-ended spanner with a ring spanner on the end of it, but people don't have double open-ended spanners. But pry bar works rather well. Get it in behind the seal, drag behind it so it doesn't damage the top of the case, and then lever it. Here she comes. There we go. And there's the main seal, with no damage done to the case. So yeah, pry bar works rather well for that job. As you can see, our main seal is absolutely screwed. But somehow it wasn't leaking. Then, new seal. Make sure you get it in the right way around. A little bit of fork oil on the outside helps it to go in. Like that. And then I've just found a suitable 1/2 inch drive 30mm long reach socket, which just fits on top of the seal nicely, almost to the edges, and then just tap it down. Until it won't go anymore, and it's past the ring where the clip sits. Once it's past there, it's in far enough, and then put the clip back in. That's it. And then new dust seal. Tiny bit of oil around the outside of it, just to help it go in. And these go in quite easily. And there's a Thor copper and hide hammer. Use the hide end of the hammer and just tap it around the outside. Until it's flush. And then done. And then it's time to put the two pieces back together. You need to put a bit of fork oil around that lower bush to help them go back together. And also retrieve this little piece that's normally stuck down the bottom of the forks, but it sits on the end of this fork rod. So, and then you put the two pieces back together. So trying to make sure that that piece stays on the end of the fork rod. And back together. And then put this bolt back in the end of there with a new copper washer on it and tighten it to 15 foot-pounds. Don't you just love Honda? You put a 15 on the bottom of it so you know what torque setting it is. Also, you need to clean all the old thread lock off this bolt and then put some new thread lock on it before you put it back into the bottom of the fork. So once you've got this bolt back in place, which can be a little bit tricky because there's a rod inside the fork and it likes to go off to one side so it doesn't line up with the bolt. So what I found works is put the bolt in first and just kind of hold it in with your finger as you drop the rod in, and it'll kind of line it up, and onto the threads of the bolt. And once it's in, obviously tighten it to 15 foot-pounds. And to finish up, fill the fork with the oil. Takes 10 W fork oil. I'm using Motul. It takes 171 millilitres for the 03 model and 185 millilitres for everything else. So after you've filled the oil, put the spring back in, put the top cap back on, and then you're done. Then it's simply a case of putting the forks back on the bike, reverse of how you took them off, which is pretty straightforward. Gives you a chance to check over other things while it's apart, like the brakes. And also I replaced the oil seal in between the hub and the Speedo gearbox because mine was disintegrating, so very easy and cheap. And also it gives you a chance before you put into part to put some fork gaiters on, which the XR125 doesn't come with from the factory, and I think it looks pretty stupid to have an off-road bike without fork gaiters on. So good opportunity to fit them whilst the forks are off. I put Pro Grip 2500 black, obviously. They fit perfectly at the bottom, but they're a bit slack at the top. But some old bicycle inner tube, wrap it round the fork shaft a little bit, just to build it up. And before we put the top of the gaiter on, and you can't see it. See, it looks much better. And that's it. We're all done. Yeah, thanks for watching, and hopefully this helps a few people.